Hey everyone, Shotgun Dave here. Welcome back to the channel. I've been getting a lot of questions about how we do interiors on our scratch built cars. So today, I think I'm going to show you guys how to use these to make an interior. So let's get started. Okay everyone, so you've got your car done, your body's all ready. You've painted your car, the windows are in, your body mounts are in, you're ready to put an interior in a car. So now that you're ready, I'm going to show you how to put an interior in it with materials that you probably already have laying around your shop. So right up front, I'm going to answer the inevitable question of where do you get a driver figure? Well, you can get 132 scale driver figures are very easy to get. A quick search of eBay, and I'll post them up here. Pioneer driver figure. Do a quick eBay search and you will get tons of them. Now, that's what this guy is here. He is a casting I made of a Pioneer driver because I build a lot of cars. So I don't want to spend $7.99 every time I want to build a car. So I made a mold and I cast him myself so that I can make as many of them as I want. But for your, once in a while car that you build, Pioneer driver figures work great, especially for these vintage cars. They have other, types as well. They even have the Steve McQueen figure. They have a street car driver. They have quite a few figures. Now, for 124 scale, because this all pertains to 124 scale as well, it will work just as good in a bigger car as it does in the little cars. But the 125th scale driver figures are, I will admit, hard to find. Now, you can find them on eBay, and there are a few other places. Electric Dreams, I believe, has a driver figure. There are places where you can get them. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start and show you what we're going to do here. All the things you're going to need to make your interior. Number one, of course, playing cards. I mean, these are just simple playing cards. You can see I've had this pack for a long time and I just keep using them and using them. This is a very old pack of cards. Make lots of interiors with these. So, that's all you need is a playing card. We have two here just to show you. But you'll need a playing card, a driver figure, obviously. Now, I have the whole full body figure here, but we're not going to use him at full bodied, obviously. We won't need the lower half at all, so we'll just take it out of here. If you want to put a roll cage in your interior, this is just a piece of sprue from a model kit that I've cut all the little nibs off of where the parts are attached. Then I'll take an emery board or a piece of sandpaper and smooth those out and have a nice piece of round stock that's free. And these work great to make interiors with. So you need this. You're going to need a small screw. I believe this is a Carrera body screw. They work great. I use them to screw the driver into the interior. I don't like using glue because inevitably the poor guy is going to get ejected. So a screw ran through the card into the body, keeps him there forever, and you don't have to worry about it. Also makes it for ease of painting everything. And then on top of that, you're going to need, and I'll get a little here, a O-ring. And these are available at your hardware store. I just this cheapy little kit I got at the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Store, whatever you guys call them in your area. That's where I got this from. They're, it's like $1.50. You got enough steering wheels to last you the rest of your life in there. So that's what I use that for, steering wheel. So that's basically it. Other than the tools that you're going to need, you should already have all those. Scissors, pin vise, X-Acto knife, maybe a straight edge. But these are the basic tools that everybody's going to need to make this interior. So now that we've laid that all out, let's get on to making an interior. Okay. So first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut this to fit your interior. So here's it's pretty rudimentary. I just line it up here. You can see where the body touches the card, and it's kind of cool that this card has a pattern on it, so you can use it as a guide. But I look here and I measure this, but then you also have to remember the interior, the card is going to be way up here inside the interior. So the cars are, they're concave, so you need to make it a little bit wider. Now this is all trial and error. It's so simple. So I see that 1 2 1 2. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it a little bit longer, and I just use scissors. And again, since this card has a pattern, I can follow it all the way up. You may want to, if you want, you can mark it and then use a Sharpie and mark it on the card to do it that way. I just do it this way. Let's see, does it fit in there yet? Nope. Well, you can see, I'll go to the next line here. Very simple. And yes, I know I could probably just cut it all off of one end, but for my purposes, it's just better to measure. So, okay, look, we're almost there. It'll almost fit inside the car now. You can see that it does kind of fit, but it's still under, well, actually that fits pretty darn good there. You can see inside, it's gonna fit right up flush with the car, with the windows. So I'm gonna leave it right like that. That's perfect right there. Yeah, it's just right, exactly right. So now what you can do, and I do this on a lot of mine, is I actually round the edge just to make it easier to slip it in. Also, it just kind of looks nicer. But yeah, you just kind of round the edge of the card off. I believe it helps it keep the card from curling eventually, which these don't. I've never really had one do that, but there, yeah. So now you got nice rounded edges. Fits perfectly. But the next thing you need to do is figure out where wherever the driver is going to sit. So once you've got it in, you pretty much know where the driver is going to sit. So you take a Sharpie and you go, okay, old Fireball is going to be right there. That's where he's going to sit, right there. Perfect, right? Okay. So now we have a mark where Fireball is going to sit. So what I do is I now take my drill and I just drill through the card. There you go. Now we know where Fireball is going to sit. So he's going to go right there. His torso. Now, I can almost guarantee you that with the head on this torso, he is going to be way too tall in the car. Yes, he certainly is. So what you probably want to do is glue him together so that he's ready to go, and then you can determine the height. So let me do that. I'll glue them together and then I'll come back and show you how we attach them to the card. Okay, we're back. Now our driver has a head. Now I can see where he's going. And you know, I like my drivers to be looking out the window, so to speak. So that's where he's going to sit, about like that. You can kind of eyeball, you know where the card is going to sit. Let's do that. We know where the card is going to sit. So if we wanted to, we know that it's going to sit right here, level with the windowsill, right here at the belt line. So I think it's pretty simple to determine where the driver will sit. You can measure, let's do it from the correct side. You can measure where he's gonna be. It's like, okay, so you're gonna cut right below his armpits there. Right below his armpits. So I just use a sprue cutter and I just cut him right where I want him. There we go. That's our driver bust. Now, what you need to do now is we need to drill a hole. That's where these pin vices come in handy. I'll put a link to this kit that I use if you are interested. If you don't have one of these, comes with really nice drills and everything that's made just for hobby stuff. So now, there we go. Got a nice hole in the bottom. What we do now is we mount him to the interior card. Now, again, I highly recommend a screw. It's just the best way. You put it through the hole that you previously drilled, and we screw him on. There he is. Okay, now we'll test fit him again. Look at that. I call that perfect. There he is, ready to go. Okay, so what I've done is taken the sprue from the model kit and I've used an emery board, and you just nicely remove the little nubs off of there from where the model kit pieces came off. Then you have a nice round piece of stock. So on this car, we're just going to make a simple hoop. Now you can get carried away and make a really cool roll cage with the cage and crossbars and all that. For our purposes here today, I'm going to show you how to make the hoop. Now, we know that this hoop has to fit within the width of the roof. So again, nice, and I just like to measure, put it across, so I know how wide the roof is, mark it with a, just inboard, mark it just inboard a little bit with a Sharpie. So I don't know if you can see the marks here, but that's all I do. I just mark it so I know that it'll fit there. Pull it out. Now we have a mark where we're gonna make our bends. So now, how to make a bend. How do you make a bend in that, Dave? Well, I'll show you. I just use my Bic lighter, and it doesn't take much. Get it a little warm, and boy, does it bend easily. Just like that. So there's one. Now we'll let that cool off for a little bit, and then we'll come back and make bend number 2. Okay, it's cooled off enough now. It's solid. Takes just a couple of minutes. Now we'll do the same thing up for this bend. Get it nice and warm, and give her a bend right on the line there. Lay it flat on your bench so your roll bar is flat, doesn't have a twist in it. And we just let her cool off. Now, once this cools off, then we're going to fit it to the car. So there we go. See, already cooled off, ready to go. So now what I do is I'll just shorten this up because I didn't measure it precisely or anything, but I'll just shorten that up so it's about the same. And now you save all these little pieces because, like I said, if you really wanted to, once you get her in there, if you want to build a crossbar, you know, forward, whatever you want to do, that these pieces are come in handy for that. So right now, let's check to see if our measurements were good. Oh yeah, look at that, just right, just right, fits in there perfectly. So that's gonna look good. So now what we want to do is, we know that we want this roll bar right behind his head. So again, I'm gonna shorten this up so that it's not so much to move with. So now we're gonna have this roll bar right behind his head. So we need to mark our card where we're gonna put this through. So we're gonna have a spot here and here. So now you got 2 marks here. So again, our little pin vise drill comes in handy. Let's just make a couple of holes in it for the roll bar to go through. And there you go. Easy. So now, to make those holes bigger, you could use a bigger bit and just open that up. And I think that's what we're gonna do. So we'll come back and do that. Okay, so I put a drill bit in. It's a little bit closer to the diameter of the roll bar material. So what we'll do is we'll just open this up a bit. That will work. And drill bits work good on these cards because these cards are kind of plasticized. I don't know what the right word is, but they are, you know, they're stiff, so it makes drilling through them pretty easily. Now, what we'll do is we put our roll bar right through there, like so. And look at that. Now we'll put our card back in. And there's your roll bar. Just like that. Looks pretty good in there. So now what you'll do is when we're ready, we'll shorten these up. Obviously, we'll cut them off and then we'll just glue it on the back side. A little drop of super glue will hold it there. Epoxy if you feel more comfortable with that. But that's all you need to do. So there it is. There's our roll cage. Okay, so I put a drill bit in. It's a little bit closer to the diameter of the roll bar material. So what we'll do is we'll just open this up a bit. That will work. And drill bits work good on these cards because these cards are kind of plasticized. I don't know what the right word is, but they are, you know, they're stiff, so it makes drilling through them pretty easily. Now, what we'll do is we put our roll bar right through there, like so. And look at that. Now we'll put our card back in. And there's your roll bar. Just like that. Looks pretty good in there. So now what you'll do is when we're ready, we'll shorten these up. Obviously, we'll cut them off and then we'll just glue it on the back side. A little drop of super glue will hold it there. Epoxy if you feel more comfortable with that. But that's all you need to do. So there it is. There's our roll cage. So now I think what we'll do is we'll move on and I'll show you how to make a dashboard. Okay, to make a dashboard, we need is another card. And now what we're going to do here is we're just going to take a slice off of this card. Now I use a straight edge for this so that we get a nice straight line. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over. And again, a straight edge comes in handy to fold this over and make it. There we go. Now we've got a nice fold. And you can see that I did it crooked, so that's all right, because this is way too tall. We'll use the scissors. Okay, so now that we've cut that, we want it to be, it can't be as wide because it will hit the sides of the car. So a dashboard. So we're just gonna shorten this up. It's about here. That'll work. So about right there. We'll cut her off. And now that we've cut this off, it's gonna go here. What I do is just open it up a little bit. My big old fingers, there we go. Just open that up a little bit. And then that's about right where we want the dash. Just about perfect. So now, a little super glue, right where we're gonna put it. Hit it with a little kicker. And there we go. Dashboard. Really well. So the next step you need to do is we need to paint it. Now, I'm not going to get all carried away and paint the whole thing, but I am going to show you what I do. The first thing we'll have to do is take our driver figure off, which is why we use a screw, and then we're going to paint the tray. So we'll do that now. I'll do that off camera. Come back, and then we'll show you where we go from there. Okay, and we're back. We have the interior all painted flat black. Pretty simple. Everybody knows how to use a spray can. It's just a spray can of flat black with the driver figure reattached. There's a little screw holding him in. So at this point, what we need to do now is attach his arms if he doesn't already have arms. If you have a driver figure that's already got arms on him, then great. But what we have to do now is we have to get his arms attached. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so Fireball now has some arms, so he can drive the car. And speaking of driving the car, he's going to need a steering wheel. So here it is. The O-ring that we had mentioned before. Now, you can use the O-ring hole, or you could cut it down, depending on how you want the car to look. Now, these old cars had big steering wheels, so I'm going to leave it whole. So all you're going to do is glue it in. Now, my suggestion for this is paint your driver figure first. Get him all dialed in the way you want him to look. Get him mounted in the car. Add the steering wheel last, because you're going to glue it in. So I'm going to glue it in right now. I have a little super glue over here. And that's all you're going to do is glue it straight to his hands. And so there it is. He's holding his steering wheel. Now you can get carried away if you want to. A little piece of wire going from the steering wheel to the dashboard to make it look crazy. You know, lots of good detail, but I'm not going to get that carried away here. You can add all the detail you want. Once this is all painted, you can go back and you can paint some instruments on the dashboard. You could put a fire extinguisher. You can add extra arms to the roll bar. You can do lots of things. That creativity part is up to you. This is just your basic interior. So we'll let the steering wheel dry for a minute. We'll put the roll cage back in, and we'll put it in situation here so we can see what he looks like all done. So we'll do that now, and I'll be right back. All right. And there you have it. Fireball in his car, ready to go. Well, after he gets painted, of course. But like I said, this is the easiest, quickest way. So now you're going to have these the extra of the roll bar. So you just need to nip it off here close. And put a drop of glue. Put a drop of glue right on each one. I always use the kicker. And there you go. There's your interior. Now, all that's left to do is glue it in when you're ready. And again, that's your glue is your choice. But I just, super glue. You could use hot glue. You could use epoxy, GB Weld, whatever you're comfortable with. And make sure you glue it down tight, because obviously in the back here, if it's hanging down, it's going to foul the rear tire. So we don't want that. So glue it up there tight. But it gives a nice look to the car. I think it does. It finishes it off. And once your driver figure is painted, of course, it'll look a lot better. But the creativity is all up to you guys. Whatever you can come up with. But that is your basic interior. And there he is right there. All done. Little paint. Fireball's ready to race. So I hope this helps you guys. Again, if you have any more questions, just let me know. And hopefully we'll see some of your cars down at Home Racing World, and we'll get to look at your playing card interiors up close and personal. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and hope this helps. We'll see you guys all later.